Picture the Persian Gulf around 3200 BCE. Sumer is rising in southern Mesopotamia. The city of Uruk, ruled by the legendary Gilgamesh, is the largest city on the planet, with 80,000 people crammed inside mud brick walls. The Sumerians have invented writing, the wheel, irrigation, and beer. But they are missing something critical. They have no copper, no timber, no precious stones. Their entire civilization sits on a flat, treeless flood plain. So they look south into the Gulf, and they find a string of islands at the exact midpoint between Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley. The largest island is what we now call Bahrain. The Sumerians called it Dilmun, and by 3000 BCE, Dilmun had become the warehouse of the ancient world. Cuneiform tablets from the city of dated to 2300 BCE, list Dilmun as the source of copper from Oman, carnelian from India, lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, and pearls from the Gulf itself. One tablet, recorded by a merchant named Enasir, complains about the quality of Dilmun copper. That clay tablet survives today in the British Museum. It is the oldest written customer complaint in human history. And it proves Dilmun was already a commercial empire when the pyramids of Giza were brand new. Here is what almost nobody knows. The Sumerians did not just trade with Dilmun, they worshipped it. In the Sumerian creation myth, the Enuma Elish, and in the Epic of Gilgamesh, Dilmun is described as the land where the sun rises, a pure place, a holy place. The text reads, and I quote the translation, "In Dilmun the raven utters no cry, the lion kills not, the wolf snatches not the lamb." Sickness and old age do not exist. Sound familiar? It should, because biblical scholars including Samuel Noah Kramer, the legendary Sumerologist at the University of Pennsylvania, identified Dilmun in the 1940s as the literary source of the Garden of Eden. The Sumerian Eden was not a metaphor. It was a real place. An island paradise the Sumerians believed sat at the edge of the world, and the Sumerians had a reason for thinking it was magical. Bahrain has something that should not exist on a desert island in the middle of a saltwater sea. It has fresh water. Hundreds of natural freshwater springs bubble up from beneath the seabed, surrounded by saltwater on every side. The ancient Greeks later called Bahrain Tylos, and Pliny the Elder wrote about its mysterious underwater rivers in 77 CE. To a Bronze Age merchant who had crossed the burning Gulf for 2 weeks, finding a green island with cool springs in the middle of the sea was a miracle. It was Eden. Now the strangest part of the Dilmun story, the drama that still stumps archaeologists. Dilmun did not just trade. Dilmun buried. Across the small island of Bahrain, archaeologists have mapped over 170,000 ancient burial mounds. 170,000. They cover entire square kilometers in dense, packed clusters that look from the air like a moonscape. By comparison, the Valley of the Kings in Egypt contains roughly 65 royal tombs. For decades, archaeologists assumed these mounds were Bahrain's own dead. The math did not work. Bahrain in the Bronze Age could not have supported a population large enough to produce that many burials. So in the 1980s, Danish archaeologist Geoffrey Bibby proposed a chilling theory. Dilmun was a necropolis for the entire region, a holy island where wealthy Mesopotamians and Gulf traders shipped their dead to be buried in paradise. If Dilmun was the Sumerian Eden, then dying on Dilmun was the closest a Bronze Age person could come to entering the afterlife alive. Imagine the trade. Bodies arriving by boat from from Lagash, from Susa. Funeral processions for kings and merchants. An entire economy built around death tourism. 4,000 years before Disneyland was a glint in anyone's eye. Then, around 1800 BCE, the trade routes shifted. The Indus Valley civilization collapsed. Mesopotamia turned inward, and Dilmun, the holy island, slowly faded into legend. By the time Alexander the Great's fleet visited in 323 BCE, the original civilization was already a ghost. For most of the last 2,000 years, Dilmun existed only as a word in clay tablets. Scholars argued for centuries about where it actually was. Some said the eastern Arabian coast. Some said Philaka Island in Kuwait. Some said the entire thing was mythology. Then in 1953, a Danish archaeological team led by Peter Wilhelm Glob and Geoffrey Bibby began excavating a site in northern Bahrain called Khalat al-Bahrain. What they pulled out of the ground stunned the academic world. They found a massive fortified city, occupied continuously from 2300 BCE to roughly 1600 BCE. They found Sumerian-style cylinder seals, but unique to Dilmun. They found Indus Valley weights using a different decimal system than Mesopotamia. They found Omani copper, Afghan lapis, and Egyptian beads all in one warehouse. Dilmun was not a myth, it was a free port, a Bronze Age Hong Kong. Excavations also uncovered the Barbar Temple complex, a stepped sanctuary built in 3 phases starting around 2200 BCE, with a sacred underground chamber containing one of those famous freshwater springs. The temple was likely dedicated to Enki, the Sumerian god of fresh water and wisdom, who in mythology was said to live in Dilmun. Today, Khalat al-Bahrain is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And only about 25% of the burial mounds across Bahrain have been scientifically excavated. 3/4 of Dilmun's evidence is still in the ground. So why does Dilmun matter in 2026? Because Dilmun is the proof that civilizations do not need armies to dominate the world. Dilmun never built a conquering empire. There is no record of a Dilmun army invading anyone. No king of Dilmun ever ordered a war monument carved. Dilmun ruled the ancient world by sitting in the right place, controlling the right harbor, and being the neutral middleman everyone trusted. It was a Bronze Age Switzerland, a trading hub so important that the world's first superpowers, Sumer and the Indus Valley, depended on it for survival. And then it disappeared. Because the moment trade routes shifted, Dilmun had no fallback, no farmland, no army, no reason for anyone to remember it once the ships stopped coming. The same island that fed an empire became a quiet backwater for 3,000 years. There is a modern parallel staring us in the face. Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai, every modern trading island that lives on logistics and neutrality is walking the exact path Dilmun walked 4,000 years ago. The ancient world had a name for the country that controls the choke point. It called it Eden. And we keep rediscovering in every century that geography plus trust is the most durable form of power humans have ever invented. CTA, 30 seconds. If forgotten empires like this one fascinate you, hit subscribe. Every week we dig up the civilizations that history books quietly skipped, the ones written out by the empires that came after. There are more Dilmuns out there. Lost cities still buried under modern capitals. Ancient superpowers we are only beginning to remember. You will not see them on the History Channel. You will see them here. Outro, 30-45 seconds, one final revelation. In 1922, a British colonial officer in Bahrain named Captain E.L. Durand opened a single burial mound on the outskirts of Manama. Inside, he found a black stone inscribed with cuneiform that read, Palace of Rimum, servant of the god Inzak, man of Agarum. Inzak was the chief god of Dilmun. Agarum was Dilmun's own name for itself. For the first time in over 3,000 years, the lost civilization had spoken its own name aloud. The empire that the Sumerians called Paradise had a voice again. And as the modern city of Manama rises higher every year, glass towers and highways now sit directly on top of those ancient mounds. The next great Dilmun discovery is probably already under someone's apartment building. Eden never went anywhere. We just paved over it.